Today, I'm answering the question, what is the paleo diet? And you may have heard it before that the paleo diet is a way of eating that resembles how our ancestors would have eaten many, many years ago during the Paleolithic era when hunting and gathering were the primary way that humans acquired their food. Another way to think about eating paleo is through nutrient density. And what that means is the more nutrients per calorie of food, the more nutrient dense a food is. So the paleo diet really focuses on getting as much nutrition as possible into your body through food. Increasing your nutrient density through eating paleo has a whole host of benefits for your health. And I talk about that in another video. But for today, we're going to focus on what exactly do you eat when you are eating the paleo diet. This can be broken down into three main categories: proteins, fruits and vegetables, and healthy fats. The most common proteins that we usually think of are chicken, beef, turkey, pork, and seafood. But there are a whole host of other options like wild game, bison, things of that nature. And to see a complete list, you can download the Paleo Quick Start Guide using the link below. In this realm of protein, you're also going to want to include things like collagen, bone broth, and organ meats. Organ meats are actually the most nutrient-dense foods that you can eat. When we talk about nutrient density, the most nutrition per calorie, beef liver is a great example of that. And I know it can be really hard to acquire a taste, especially if you weren't brought up in a culture that was used to eating these kinds of meats. There are cultures out there that eat these on a regular basis, and even the children have acquired a taste for this. But if you are an adult and you are just getting into eating organ meats, it can be a little bit of a slippery slope. So what I suggest is finding some great recipes, places like Pinterest, where you can find a pate recipe and you can kind of play around with that until you find a way of enjoying it. Personally, it took me a few years to really get into the rhythm of eating liver on a regular basis, but it does make a world of a difference. And it is way less expensive to actually buy the liver and make some kind of creation out of it at home than it is to buy supplements. So moving on to fruits and vegetables, there are literally hundreds of varieties of fruits and vegetables to choose from. And depending on your health goals, you may be looking for fruits that are lower in sugar, like berries or green apples. But I do want to mention that paleo does not have to be low carb. Your starches will come from different places when you're eating this way. Rather than consuming grains and legumes, you are going to be getting your starches from plants like sweet potatoes, cassava, taro root. There's also a complete list of these starches in the Paleo Quick Start Guide. And again, that is linked below. So the third category of focus with the paleo diet is healthy fats. You will consume fats just by eating animal proteins and animal products. But in addition to that, you can get your fats from things like nuts and seeds, avocados, olives, coconut, and of course the oils that are derived from these foods as well. So beyond eating paleo for nutrient density, let's talk about nutrient diversity. And this means getting a wide range of nutrients by eating a wide range of foods. And an example of this is every week when we go to the grocery store, we tend to buy the same things. We'll buy the same variety of apple, the same variety of onion. If you want to increase your nutrient diversity, you can simply switch up the varieties that you buy. So if you buy Macintosh apples one week, you can buy Fuji apples the next week. If you buy white onions one week, you can buy yellow onions the next week. Same thing with cuts of meats and varieties of meats and fish. Buy different ones each week, and then you are just very simply increasing your nutrient diversity. You may be wondering about the foods that I haven't mentioned, like dairy, grains, and legumes, and why those are actually not included on the paleo diet. And the simple answer is that they create more inflammation in the body. So when you eat paleo, you remove those foods and you are reducing your inflammatory load. For those of you eating paleo for a chronic health condition or autoimmune disease, you'll want to focus on the autoimmune paleo version of this diet. There are some distinctions that are quite important if you do have one of these health concerns. And you can find out more about that in my Eat to Heal course, which is linked below as well. That is a free course that basically takes you from the beginning all the way through of how to implement the autoimmune paleo diet and exactly how that's different from the traditional paleo diet. My best piece of advice for starting the paleo diet is to focus on the foods that you can have. If you start going down the rabbit hole of what you can't have, you're basically dooming yourself from the start. So think about the foods that you do like and get yourself excited about that. There are tons and tons of recipes for free online. There are many bloggers out there. If you want to check out my Pinterest board, you can find me, Whitney Copeland. I have saved several recipes there in different categories that will help this transition not only be smooth, but actually be enjoyable because you can find foods that you actually enjoy.